This is 74.
63, climb maintain 13 down.
13,000, Tempo 63.
63, contact the New York Center 128.3.
28-3, Tempo 63, good day. Hello, Captain.
On Approach is a flight sim and aviation enthusiast podcast featuring the week's top user-submitted stories and news from around the world. Welcome to another episode, everybody! Today...
Everybody!
Yeah. No, we've already done that at the beginning of the show, and I hope that it I hope that it gets lost forever.
It's true, we did
Or
that.
as we head towards 100 episodes, I hope that one gets lost forever.
Someone will fight back with an actual timestamp and a
I
link.
know, right? I know.
Please do, guys. Please do. I want to see that again.
So we've got a full-length show today. The news is packed with goodies, lots of great conversation stuff. I'll introduce the hosts. I am OMGEDSON. We've got Mr. Kevin, a.k.a. the Maple Syrup Can right there. We've got Mr. Noodle right there, Sir Caramel Noodle. And Mr. Spark Smudge.
Hello, miss.
Hello, miss. In a much cooler environment today, I hear.
It's going to be another warm one today, but it started off nice and cool. We had a nice breeze overnight. So, yeah, good.
Good. Good week, everybody? A bit of some time off. And speaking of time off, I should ask for the record, Mr. Spark Smudge, how are you feeling today? I hope you're feeling better, sir.
I am feeling a little better. I should be back at work this week. I did have to take some sick time, and Edson knows I never go sick. He knows. He's just like, this guy's always working. He's like, when you? I'm just like, yeah, but I've been a bit dicky over the last few days. So, the last week really.
Yeah.
But I'm finally beating it. I've got a bit of a chest infection now, though. I think coughing a bit.
I'll be spending the next week home as well. I'm working from home. I have my son here with me this whole week, so it should be interesting. I'm sure there's going to be a game of Overwatch here and there, but for the most part, I'll be working from home and just kind of hanging out with him. So look at Noodle. What, you don't like Overwatch? Would you like to talk about where you've been for the past entire week, day and night without any sleep?
Well, you know, I've been spending my days in this place called Convention City, Las Vegas, at this Star Trek convention.
You mean they have conventions in Las Vegas?
Yes, they do have conventions out here. And they always come back to Vegas because it's a good place to do conventions. So, yeah, I did some in the Star Trek convention was the past few days. It was great. Spent some time. A lot of great stuff to see. I bought a few things. Got a nice new shirt here because Klingons.
Oh, nice.
That is actually a cool print, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a nice this nice drawing. I don't want to say it's a drawing, but kind of like this art. I mean, I have it behind me.
Lithograph.
Yeah, it's a litho basically of the main two Klingons, General Martok and Chancellor Gowron. I got to meet the actual actors. Unfortunately, I missed them when they were in costume, but I got to meet them at their tables and all. I got to speak to them for a bit of time. Great men. Got to talk to them about their craft and how they found their. The big thing for me was, where do you draw upon your method to be a Klingon? Because you don't find those type of personalities, that kind of thing, in normal life. So, you know, just hearing what they had to go through, the costume work, how the makeup really didn't bother them so much. It was just the costumes, because they're heavy, thick, and bulky and all that. So it was really great, and I was happy. The main thing for me was meeting those two guys, and it was great. And the cool thing was J.G. Hertzler, who plays Martok, General Martok, he happened to be in an area that I was at military background and all, with family and all. Granted, he was in the location I was at like ages ago, but it was really cool that he was, he had mentioned that. It's like, oh really? I was there, and blah 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 blah. And the areas that he mentioned in Germany, I'm like, yep, I've been there too. So it was great to have a little bit of connection with that. So really enjoyed the convention, had a great time. It's been great though. No Man's Sky, I've been having a blast. It's just been, since I bought it a few days ago, just nonstop. I am not bored with it. I'm enjoying it. So yeah.
What about you, Mr. Kevin?
Spent the week in Montreal again.
You went home?
Yeah, I went back home. Well, essentially where my parents live, if that's home.
That's home.
Yeah.
Always home.
Yeah. It was good to be back, to be frank. Yeah, I worked on that helicopter project again. We got the paint done this week. We hooked up the VR headsets. We hooked up we cloned the computers so both headsets could work. Connected the machines together. Now it works in harmony. I still have to figure out a few things, but overall, that's pretty much done. I'm very happy about that.
So you've got the shell, you've got the screen inside, you've got the VR units, you've got the motion, you've got the platform going, you've got the paint. What's next? What's next?
We got the seats installed. I have a few seat belts. You know, the old Buick car.
Yeah, the buckles. Yeah.
Yes. I got that on order.
Over the tops. You need the
No, it's only going to be wrist
lap belt.
Lap belt, yeah, exactly. Because the 206, the shell that we have, comes with hooks for those built in already, and we don't have them at the top. So yeah, it's not going to be a 3-point harness. But the important part is that the guys, the guests, don't leave the shell with the VR and hurt themselves. Because that thing moves. That thing moves really, really quickly. And I tried an extra 300 aerobatic plane with it, and that thing moves like there's no tomorrow. It's absolutely incredible.
Exactly, bro.
If you guys come in Montreal or whatever, just drop me a line and we'll go into sim. It's I've tried it with my parents. It was beautiful to see.
there you go, folks in Canada, Montreal area specifically, or if you want to take a road trip, you got the invite right there. That's awesome, bro. And that's what I did at the expo, was try out VR for the first time in flight sim. I tried it in an extra 300, doing aerobatics in Aerofly FS2, and I did not want to come back to reality. I didn't care how long the line was behind me. I didn't care. I was that guy. I was not getting off, bro. It was amazing. So I'll definitely be buying. It's even better
with a helicopter. It's even better than with a helicopter, because you actually use a VR to get where you want to go, and you have a better situational awareness. So it's awesome. It runs on X-Plane as well. So like I said last week, if you guys have any scenery ideas, all open for that. I still have not had the time to install all the ones we got as suggestions in the last episode, but that's still pending, and I'll keep you guys updated on how it's going.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Cool.
I've been pretty much busy in Wildlands, dude. I've been in Bolivia. Playing Wildlands every chance I can get, just kind of catching up, making up for time. I don't often get gaming time, but this week it's been available. So Wildlands, oddly enough, the other night I get presented, I think it said I was something like 40% through the actual full content of the game, and it presented me and it presented me with the option to kill El Sueño, which is like the top dog, right? It's like the Grand Poobah. And so I accepted the mission on a night where Kevin, who else was it? Who was it? Kevin. It was Kevin, Pincom, and
was there?
Was it you? No, it wasn't you, Noodle. It was Gremlin, I think. I think it was Gremlin. It was four of us. We had a team. Yeah, we had a team. And we went and we did that final mission and ended
It was
basically
Willis.
like it was Willis. It was what you're talking about, Willis. And we basically like ended the game. But it's weird because so I killed the top dog, the last guy. So now some of the storylines are borked a little bit, like a tiny bit. And I said to myself, damn it, Noodle would have never done this.
I told you.
Like he never I committed the ultimate sin because now the very next mission after that was kill DJ Perico, and it was like, hey everybody, this is DJ Perico and I have with me El Sueño, and it's just like, bro, I just killed El Sueño. How could you have El Sueño with you? so in my head I was like, damn, Noodle would have never permitted this. But anyways, what is cool is that the game actually still encourages you to continue progressing to kill the others, and it says when you do finish 100% of the rest of the game, there's an alternate ending to killing El Sueño. So you do get to fight him again and take him down, and there's an alternate ending. And I'm looking forward to that, and I will not make that mistake again. But yeah. Wildlands has been awesome this past week.
I have something, but it's off community. I still want to ask the community, though, because I'm curious. We have that thing in Canada called Ribs Fest. Right? It's a place where you go and people come in with their trucks, food trucks, and it's like a contest of who makes the better ribs. Right? I went to that today. It was pretty good, though it was super warm. I've never experienced like heat like that. It was like 38 Celsius or something. I don't know what that means for you guys, but 38 Celsius. So I'm curious, is that like a Canadian thing? I bet you have that in America.
Mr. Sparks, what you got?
Nothing much this week. I do have some new hardware turning up. Thank you, community, for helping me bring that together. I've got my TI coming, 1080 Ti. I've also ordered some another 16 gig of RAM, so it's going to be up to 32 gig. And yeah, it's going to be a pretty exciting, beefy system. Yeah, big beefy system. So, community, how should I test my equipment once I get it? Give me something that's gonna push it to the limit. I've got the general stuff. I think I've got Grand Theft Auto 5, Wildlands. But what should I use? I mean, 3D Mark is old now. It's old. I don't really rate the ratings on 3D Mark anymore. What should I use to test the system and make sure it is running at peak performance?
Mr. Noodle, what you got?
I just been really trying to figure out heat dissipation. So just looking for ideas. My current office space is a small room, doesn't get air travel, does not happen very well. So I've been trying to figure out solutions to really dissipate that heat. Keep in mind, I live in Vegas, so it's not like I can just open up the window. There's an AC vent right there, but you know, we're currently in a 2-story house, so a lot of that air doesn't come in to really help get that heat out. So if there's anybody out there who has their setup in a smaller-ish room that doesn't do well on getting that air movement, even though I have a ceiling fan and all, I'll be curious to know what you do to really reduce the amount of heat present in the room when you have everything going. But again, keep in mind, I do live in Vegas, so I can't just like open the window. I can do it at late nights, but not during the day, because during the day off here where you see me pointing is a nice big honking piece of glass, plus the sun when it rises beats down on that side as well, so a lot of heat generates. So if anybody's in that kind of same situation, I'd be really curious to know what you use, if you have to purchase something or whatever, to really kind of get that heat out of the room. You know, it's not bad, but it's enough to know that if I come from another place in my house, when I walk in here, it's a easy 10 degrees warmer. Easy. So I'd be curious to know.
I've got nothing this week. Nope, nothing this week. So we'll get right to the news. Here we go. You know what? I'm back. And Noodle, you reminded me of it with the water. I do have something for the run-up. So you all know I'm all about the sparkling water thing, right? I'm on the La Croix all the time. Well, lime is where it's at. I'm all about the lime La Croix, but it's also the hardest one to find. So this last week, we were in the store looking for it, and they didn't have any. And I ended up buying an alternative, which is Waterloo sparkling water. And let me tell you guys, I have never burped so much after drinking water than after drinking this shit. The bubbles are like super bubbles from the planet Krypton or some shit, because I don't know, give me another space name, but this, stay away from the Waterloo sparkling water unless you want to feel like you're in the bubble room in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, because man, I feel like I'm about to float up to the sky. Yeah, you guessed it. A message for our popular contributors and a Steve Harvey moment. I made a mistake. Last week we announced our winner for the top contributor of the month, but I looked at the weekly metric. So rather than to take the crown from one to give to the other, we have 2 new Gold Club members this week. Ladies and gentlemen, I do want to welcome Henry Stitt and Dread Metis to the Gold Club tier. So thank you guys. Henry Stitt was the actual winner of the Popular Contributor of the Month contest, and they both are rocking the Gold Club badge this month. So congratulations, and I apologize once again. Now getting to the list this week. From the top, in the number 1 spot, Mr. Steve Simmons, 1958. Congratulations, sir. Thank you for the great content. Followed closely by Ivana Fly, Dread Metis, Pincom 2016. In the number 5 spot, we've got Grizzly Bear Sims, followed by Zephyr, David White, Sir Gremlin, Voland, and the long-lost Pitchett. Mr. Pitchett, it's been a long time since we've seen you, but it's nice to see you back. I do want to end on one note. Hashtag fuck Pitchett. He knows it's all love. It's all love, and he knows it. Thank you guys seriously for a great week of topics. Without your submissions, we really don't have anything to talk about. So you are directly responsible for these shows. Thanks again. Kicking off with the top news, and boy is it top news. POSCON offers VATSIM $50,000. This one submitted by David White. Guys, does $50,000 exist in the flight sim space?
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
yesterday,
Mr. Edson.
Yes,
That's basically the entire flight sim store.
Yesterday, Positive Control Network, aka POSCON, posted a cryptic Facebook message stating that the company would be injecting $50,000 into continued development of a well-known online flight simulation network. Whilst there was a lot of speculation in regards to which network that was, Matt Davies, newly appointed technical lead manager, confirmed via Facebook that it is indeed VATSIM. Those words from our friends at FS Elite. So on to the post itself, posted about a week ago by Matt. A few moments of your time, if I may. I'd like to talk to you about something exciting, something that's been in the pipeline for some time, and something which is finally becoming a reality. From the moment I found out about the world of online networks, I was hooked. VATSIM was the very first online network that I used, followed by a brief stint on IVAO before returning to VATSIM. I'd consider myself experienced when it comes to how these online networks operate, both from an end user's point of view and from an infrastructure point of view. It goes on and on and on and on. The gist of the statement is $50,000 offer made to buy VATSIM. I want first impressions from Sparky. Go.
Are they actually buying? Are they buying the infrastructure? Are they buying the model match it? I don't know. Are they just buying the whole network as a whole and going to strip it down and pull out the codecs that are crap and rebuild it. I mean, and obviously POSCON is going to be a brand new product that they're building. I understand that, but are they going to build POSCON on top of VATSIM, or is VATSIM still going to exist as a standalone product?
From what I see is they're after the user base more than the core technology that's in VATSIM.
I saw that. I did read that, and I have a problem with that.
Why is that?
Because I signed up for VATSIM, and now if VATSIM sell my information to a third party, where's my protection? As a
That's
user,
part of the agreement, though.
Their agreement, or my
Their
agreement with VATSIM.
Yeah,
you would fall under the new terms with POSCON.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you agree with that, you can.
I didn't sign up. But I didn't sign up for POSCON. I signed up for VATSIM. If VATSIM are going to sell my information to POSCON, isn't that a breach of your personal information?
It depends on what's in the agreement.
But I don't think. I think there's a skewed perception. I don't think it's that they're buying the users. They want the users, but they're buying VATSIM. Everything about it. The technology, the users, the servers, the everything. For $50,000, you better be getting fucking everything. Granted, the actual value is the users and their records. Records meaning their logs, etc. And Matt did make a statement that if people really want to see their records, then VATSIM needs to basically make this sell, right? Like, it's all about that data, that logged data that already exists in VATSIM for so many virtual pilots. So they're offering to buy the company, all of VATSIM. And along with that, it comes you, a user of VATSIM.
Can it even be sold? That's a big question. So it's a free service, right?
Right.
Well, it's a free service, yes, but you signed up and made an agreement with company A, okay? And now you have company B, as I'm understanding it thus far, wants to buy everything, which means potentially your information that you signed up with company A is automatically, let's say if it does happen, go over to B. That's wrong. That's in essence, you have bought everything to include a user database to which you just bought and paid for. And my information is on VATSIM, and I signed up with VATSIM. Now, I think the smart thing to do if this were to happen, and for me, this whole announcement doesn't mean shit because it's not coming from a senior member of POSCON. As this is stating, Matt Davies was just recently hired on to become a technical designer on this, but he's not one pulling the strings. So this might be something that's out there that someone who has money to just throw out there, basically, let's say a new vehicle, is throwing it out there. But again, until something like this is verified by somebody who has overall organizational control, like a president, CEO, vice president, someone in authority, to me, this doesn't mean shit. I mean, and again, to sell someone's private information and you have a contract between A and B, that's wrong. You can't just do that. We're already seeing a lot of this privacy stuff with people's information bouncing around and all that, and people got heated, and it's all over the news, at least it has been. But I'll be damned if, you know, that were to happen. And I don't think I'm the only one who would want to find out that their information is on a whole nother network that they did not sign up for originally.
So
in their privacy policy, it states VATSIM is the sole owner of the information collected on this site. It will not sell, share, or rent this information to others in ways different from.
But they're not. That's why the perception is skewed, bro. If they sell the company, they're not selling your information. They've sold the company. It's the same as
all assets.
Yeah, it's everything. But
so your information is asset.
Yeah, but it's different. It's like, I'm not gonna sell your information, but they have every right to sell the company, and that with that company comes your information. But that really could mean two things. If they sell VATSIM, it just could mean a new owner to VATSIM moves into VATSIM, and then your info stays as branded as VATSIM. Or it could mean that VATSIM gets converted into POSCON, and then your information gets converted into being on the POSCON network. But they've legally bought all assets, digital, physical, the company has sold. So it's not like they're selling your information.
Yes,
that's very different. But it's very different.
So that means that at any time, someone like in India, like a scammer, would decide to get $50,000 and buy the network and just scam everyone on the network.
Sure.
And that would be illegal.
Of course, they're buying the company. It's like AT&T. If AT&T merges with Unicorn Mobile tomorrow, all Unicorn Mobile users become AT&T users. But it's not a big deal because they're not selling the database. But if
it is.
No, it's not, bro. But if Unicorn
What
Mobile,
happens when that happens?
it's not, Noodle. But if Unicorn Mobile decides to post on the dark web, I got 100,000 users on our network. We're selling the information. Yo, what's up? Who wants it? That is selling user information. Selling a company and all of its assets, including contracts and customers, etc., is not the same as just selling customer data. It's not.
It's still all encompassing, because if you buy all
they'll get your
assets,
data, but they're not selling your data.
But here's the thing.
This is the thing. Noodle, hold on a second. If this happened, VATSIM sell out to POSCON. Are VATSIM going to contact all of their users and say, this is your opportunity to tell us to wipe your information?
That's where I was going next.
Dude, GDPR is protecting your ass like never before. You can do that right now, and they have to wipe 100% of you out of their fucking database.
You still that's where I was going next from what Mark was just saying. And again, still, if A Telecom gets bought out and merges with B Telecom, you still get notified of such.
Oh, you'll get notified.
It's going to happen, this, that, and the other. To which
you'll get notified.
To which would mean that you would then have that opportunity to either go with or cancel out.
Matt Davies says, look, IVAO and Pilot Edge have nothing to do with this. We've made VATSIM an offer that really, if they care about the community, they won't turn down. They have a period of time to review it and then accept or decline. So you can tell people that. It's that simple. And unfortunately, it's probably going to be something that bold that's going to say, look, it's this simple. You can keep your information here right now, or in a week it's going to become POSCON. It's that simple.
Here's the other thing really quick on the POSCON. When I remember seeing it at the expo, and I didn't take the time to check it out, but last week or so I was on the website and all. I was really under the assumption by reading everything on it that they were building their own infrastructure and they're building their own thing. But in essence, they are not, because you have somebody, again, not in charge stating this.
Well, see, so a statement was made. A statement was made by a representative of VATSIM, and he said that exactly. He actually said, first of all, to our knowledge, Matt Davies does not own POSCON. As far as we are aware, he is a paid developer for them, so any communication from POSCON on something like an offer for a network would be unlikely to come from him. However, it did, and that announcement came from him, which is where I get to my statement about this whole shitball. Blurred lines. The lines are way too blurred now. And I think that the community deserves much more clarity, right? You have some money bag somewhere out there that's dropping 50K in front of Matt and saying, you want a Big Mac? Go buy a Big Mac. Here's the money. But for what gain? Is there a mutual benefit in there somewhere that we don't know about? Is there a pinky in the brain scenario, alternative motive out there that we don't know about? What is going on? POSCON is interlinked with the old Air Daily X. Don't know if you noticed, it is. Now we have VATSIM about to basically be somehow merged or absorbed, even though Matt Davies said it was going to be separate products, but the same products, but separate products. Somehow interlinked with VATSIM. Like, what's going on? Is this some kind of a dirty monopoly scenario that you, the users, the community, the flight simmers, will end up with one option to fly online with? One option for news? Is that the ultimate goal here? What's next? A bid to buy FS Elite? What's next? What's next? Where does it stop? Where does it stop?
This is now the electronic arts of flight simulation. And for you gamers out there who know what I mean, I think you get it. This is an EA move, almost like an EA move.
A few weeks ago, VATSIM announced a membership milestone. They hit 80,000 active pilots. So that doesn't include this guy who has a VATSIM account that's inactive. Right? Yeah. 80,000. So you too. Right.
Mine's not inactive. No. Did use it a couple of weeks ago.
80,000 active pilots in the network, right? So they have at least completed the minimum required to stay active versus inactive. Now, that's 80,000 names, addresses, whatever else we had to submit. That's who knows how many other thousands inactive, this guy, that guy, etc., etc., etc. Quite the milestone. And it's soon after that, they also announce a new voice codec, some new technologies that are coming. We got fresh developers on board. We got volunteer developers on board. VATSIM is coming up. VATSIM is going to get bigger, better, etc. And soon is when that $50,000 offer rolls in. So, you know, is POSCON looking to absorb what they're working on and make it POSCON because POSCON isn't far enough to say they have, you know, developed something? Maybe. But POSCON says that no, this is definitely something brand new from the ground up. So if that statement is true, then what they're after is the user data. If they're not interested at all in any of the tech that VATSIM has, then what value is VATSIM? Users.
Well, if they have new developers on board, I mean, right? They were at the base voluntary on VATSIM. Now they're gonna get what paid on POSCON, so they would get developers as well.
Oh, you think Moneybags has enough to put people on salary too?
I do bet you he has, yeah. And there's going to be paid tiers on there as well. Because, I mean, why would someone drop 50K on a voluntary project? It's just not a thing.
How are they going to make that money back on a free network?
Oh, paid tiers. It's not going to stay a free network for the most part. There's always going to be free tiers, that's for sure. But if you want the real features, you're going to have to pay a membership. And that's not wrong in itself. I think VATSIM would be miles ahead if it had that concept.
Yeah, I do agree.
It's just I don't know where all of this is going, but sure is going to be entertaining for the next few months.
Blurred lines. This one submitted by Dread Metis. Orbex acquire rights to old Earth Simulations assets.
Sorry. Did you say EA acquired rights to Earth Simulations assets?
No, Orbex.
Because Orbex seems like it's starting to do the same thing as well.
Right?
They keep buying stuff.
Just absorbing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Orbex is absorbing stuff that has been dead. They're absorbing their assets. Right about
that. Yeah. No, wait. Turbulent Design is not dead.
They didn't absorb Turbulent. Yeah. They just publish under Orbex. They didn't absorb them.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Turbulent still does their own.
Here's the difference for you folks that's out there as well. This is what Orbex has been doing, this is a positive thing.
This is
It's
a
not-
positive
This is
thing.
positive. It's not the dick move shit that EA does. So
This
This
is
is
a positive thing. Dreadbeta says, you remember in 2015, Earth Simulation went out of business. They were proposing a bunch of content for the flight simmer, like Isle of Man. The channel, I almost said Chanel. the Channel Islands, and some photorealistic sceneries like Scotland and other parts of UK, if not mistaken. Well, they even had some great trees add-ons at the time. Well,
Yeah.
Full Terrain X, Orbex, has purchased the rights to those sceneries just a few hours ago. So what's to be expected? Some new types of photoreal sceneries again? Wasn't the photoreal fashion for P3D ended with Netherlands? So many questions. Here are the answers. And some information from Orbex. This was the actual press release from Orbex. We'll get into that. Posted by Miss Amy Sanjari. Orbex buys former Earth Simulations assets. Over the coming year, the Orbex team will be developing completely refreshed versions of their popular Channel Islands and Isle of Man titles for Prepare 3D, Aerofly FS2, and X-Plane 11. John Veneman today said this is a great result for both the former users of Earth Simulations and also the Orbex community. There's been a desire of mine for some years to carry Darren and Vicky's benchmark scenery titles forward and give them a new lease of life. Wonderful.
This is a great move. It's
That's a great move.
Because I've seen those sceneries. I don't have them myself, but when they were out, I did closely look at them, and they were really good, really well done. And having that Orbex touch on there now is just going to make them so much better. And yeah, across all platforms as well.
Yeah.
Really good.
So, a real golden nugget in this statement. Our colleagues at Turbulent Designs have been tasked with these projects for FSX and P3D, and I am confident their team will produce a rock-solid set of products. It's going to the hands of Turbulent Designs, baby. This is going to be gorgeous. You can count on it.
If Orbex does it, heck yeah.
And as a follow-up, whilst the owners of Earth Simulations products may be disappointed to hear that there will not be a free upgrade, it's worth noting that all the additional features will ensure it will feel like a brand new product. Furthermore, it's been confirmed that cross-platform purchases will mean users who buy for multiple sims, for example P3D and X-Plane 11, will be entitled to the usual 40% discount as seen in other Orbex products. So bravo,
Good move.
bravo,
Good move.
man! Taking a company that is no longer active and bringing them up to new life, man. This is awesome.
Can they
A
buy
great
real
move.
air?
I'd love them to do that.
Oh man,
Yes, please, John.
could
Make
somebody
it
buy
so.
real air and bring it back to life, please?
Buy real air and make them Orbex planes.
Or anybody out
You'd
there
have the
who's
best.
very good. Oh, that would be awesome.
Clovertail graphics card GPU brace support, a solid $14 investment. This one posted by me. We don't often cover hardware, but I did want to bring this up specifically. GPU sag
Whoa.
is a real thing. GPU sag is real. That's what it looks like. So, in a standard video card, all of the ports are on the port side, right? Everything is kind of on this side. And as cards get longer and heavier and hotter, all of that works against the card itself when gravity is involved. They start to sag, they start to dip. You might want to open up your case today and just have a peek if you've had your card in there for some time. Ultimately, this is what could end up happening. The actual motherboard itself can see damage from that. To solve that, manufacturers make brackets, GPU brackets. One of the ones that I found after pulling myself away from LED-based ones, because I don't need any more LEDs, was this GPU brace here, which I found to be made out of aircraft-grade aluminum, super strong, trussing style, which for all the lighting nerds out there know that this is probably some of the strongest, you know, cut you can have. And more importantly, low profile. I wanted something that can go in the case, and instead of having it say NVIDIA on the side, would just be under my card and hold it up. And I have a long card. That sounds so dirty. I have a long card. And so it needed to be long as well. Here it is, made from aircraft grade aluminum, low profile truss style, match made in heaven. This is with my EVGA hybrid. It's not perfectly level only because my actual computer itself is not perfectly level, but believe me, it is absolutely flawlessly level inside. As you can see, my GPU top is actually sloped. The provided risers in this kit help to deal with that elegantly. Here's where you can actually see that this side of my video card is thicker than this side of my video card, and you can see that they have little risers provided to solve for those scenarios to keep the card completely level. And here it is installed, you know, perfectly not there, yet making sure that my video card will not sag over time. Easy fix installation, about, you know, $5–10. Have any of you ever used a GPU bracket?
I've got one attached to my motherboard. I forgot what motherboard is, the whatever it is, can't remember, but it's got a plastic shield on it. It's actually got a shield over the actual circuit board, and there is a little foot you can click out and bring up. It's not perfect, it's not as good as that, but there is a little foot that you can pop out to help steady the card.
Nice. So
Yeah,
our video cards,
that.
$800, you know, $900 sometimes, these video cards, dude. $13, $14 to make sure it never sags even a little bit. Pff, done.
Yeah.
But have you had that problem with the ports before? With the actual track?
Yeah, mine was sagging a little bit, and you don't realize until you put something like this under it that's perfectly level, and then you're like, oh, there was a little bit of sag. Yeah, it's just,
but
it's.
have you had problems with your actual slot?
Have I ripped my slot? No,
yeah.
but you don't want it to sag even a little bit, bro. Any flex is flex. You have to think about everything in these cards is built from precision. Like, if there's any flex, you might even have less contact on a heating pad. Like, you don't want that. You want flush, baby. You want everything to be nice and tight and flush.
My assumption is that if the card itself does not have that baked into it, is that it might not be a big deal.
I see what you mean. Yeah. I personally have never used anything like this, though I'm familiar with things like this. But it does make sense to get a product like this because the strength of a GPU being held in place is really by the two screws that attach to the rear of your case, right? Yeah. And then another X percentage is by the slot that it's sitting in. So you figure, again, with heat flex and all that, and you move your case around like we all do for cleaning and what have you, there's going to be movement over time. And you figure that little bit of movement, and you're doing it every so often, is kind of like wiggling it free, coming off the contacts in the slot. Therefore, you know, it's just not going to work right. So this
and
is a good thing to have.
And even though my ports never ripped like the one you saw, 100% guarantee that there was more stress on my port because mine was a little bit sagging. When I put this in, it's resting on this now, and now I can rest assured that my port has no strain on it. It's just contacts.
Right, so my little tip for people who don't want to spend $14 on that is don't put your computer upside up in a U-Haul trailer while moving. I guess that's my little trick I can give you. But I've seen some sagging. Definitely, there's some weight on there and some stress on the ports. But my guess is that motherboards these days are kind of made to handle those stress. So I'm not personally going to spend that amount on that, but I can understand how people. That's
an expensive risk, my friend. An expensive risk.
Maybe if it happens to me, though, I will have lived through it. Might cost a grand, but I don't buy that that's gonna happen though. Maybe on a cheap motherboard, but not the one that I have.
But it's not so much about it happening. It's the simple fact that there's more stress on a port, or there's not stress on a port, right? It never happened to me, but I know for a fact that there was stress on the port because when I put this in, all of a sudden now my card is level, perfectly level, and I know 100% there is not stress on my port. So yeah, it's how preventative do you want to be? It's not being, it's more being proactive than reactive, right? Like you say, it never happened to you, so you'll never see it, but I will make sure that I never see it by making sure that I never see it.
But if you can afford £1,000 graphics card and a £200 motherboard, you can spend $15 and get a bracket.
Yeah. Does it stress you out if I tell you that your power and your SATA cable is stressed right now on your SSDs at the back of the case?
Yeah. So no, because I made sure that they weren't.
Straight out. I've got the
L ones,
the bent L shapes.
Yeah. Because the amount of cables that are stressed on in a computer case, there's a lot of them.
But you're talking cables, which is a weight of a few grams, versus these video cards, which because you have one of these, it's a big weight being held on from one side of the card. The rest of the card is just hanging out. It's just hanging.
Maybe I'm missing on something, and sometimes it's going to blow up on me. I don't know.
Well, I look at it this way. It's a very inexpensive piece of hardware for peace of mind that it will not fail, break. There's even weight distribution. No worries.
On to some more hardware, some news from Honeycomb Aeronautical. This one also posted by Mr. Dreadmetis. It's coming! You may remember that Honeycomb Aeronautical, already doing equipment for GA aircraft in real life, is soon to make a move into the flight sim segment with a yoke and throttle with both good quality, practicality, and price. While they stayed quiet for a while and they are back on the news track, here's a picture. So this is the latest of renderings. And I love that there's a trim wheel there. That's pretty dope.
There's a gear lever as well, AT controls.
That's pretty dope.
Everything, switches, flaps. I love that.
The problem is that my desk is an L. And the long part of the L is on the right side, so I can't mount this to my desk. So that's going to be a problem.
You get a new desk.
Yeah, there's some more schematics, etc. But there is some news as well. So one of the big delays that they had was in how could I say this? In outlining their mass production process. So they flew overseas to oversee the mass production process and found that they needed to make some changes. But they wanted to make the changes so that it would not affect the actual quality of the product itself. And so it took some time to make some design changes. And it looks like now they're going to have some pre-production samples available at the Aerosoft booth at Gamescom in Germany in August. So if you're heading out to this expo, make sure to stop by the Aerosoft booth to check out this hardware, because this is going to be some awesome stuff.
Do you think we can convince Aerosoft to bring a copy to Cosford with them?
They probably
they will, because they've done that with Thrustmasters with their rudders as well, and it's a very Yeah, it's a very good thing that I like to see that Airsoft is taking on those hardware manufacturers and bringing those to shows. And I really, I'm excited about this hardware. I've had an eye on this since they announced it. It looks so gorgeous. The quality looks so good, and the people who are on it seem to really care about quality. And that's like the first time I've seen that in the flight sim space, right? I still have my CH product. As well. I still have my CH product, and it looks like crap, and it still does. I mean, they haven't changed it in so long.
Is that what they're looking at as price point? $200 a piece.
That's
really good. That's really good.
Very good.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I want to see their rudders now.
My only concern is it going to be that good that I need to buy it, which means it's going to compete with my Warthog?
Yeah, yes, it will.
I already spent $500 on the Warthog, and for those of you out there who have a Warthog, you know you dropped $500.
Yeah.
And now we have a price point of 2 and 2. This is going to be a tough call for me. Like Kevin was saying, I've had an eye on it since it was announced and all that. I really like the design. I wanted a new yoke system because I had the SciTech system, and so this is going to be a tough one for me. And I'm sure it might be tough for others who see this, who went and purchased the Warthog, and now this is coming. It's so close, and if the build and the feel and everything is that good, it's gonna be like, oh well, shit.
Well, for me, Noodle,
yeah,
I would stick with my my SciTech stick, because I wouldn't buy the actual yoke, but I would buy the throttle.
Oh yeah.
The quadrants were good, I will admit. Yes, my quadrants are good.
The only problem that I see with those is, well, for me personally, because I don't fly that much, I do a lot of development, and I need my controls accessible. And having a yoke in front of me is not something I look forward to. I had that with CH product, and I had to put it away, and you had to move it around, and it's very, very annoying on that front. The throttle quadrant, though, can stay there on the right, and that doesn't disturb me, and it's super, super useful. But I wouldn't get the yoke, though, for that very simple reason. My sticks and throttles are on my desk, and they fit perfectly within the space that I have. And
so what
I guess, Sparky, you have the same issue.
Yeah. One of the things I always, I guess, internally desired was for somebody to get the bug, the itch, to make a removable yoke system. So you look at how in the custom car world, you've got the removable steering wheels, right? You pick up your steering wheel, you take it with you, now you just got the shaft. How cool would it be to have an underdesk mounted yoke to where you literally are just, you know, below the desk is just mounted, you know, perhaps a shaft or something, and then you basically, you know, you got the yoke, you snap it, lock it, and then you've got a yoke. But then it's gone. And I would love for somebody, you know, anyone out there thinking about taking the idea to take it and make it a reality, because I think that would solve so many issues for people, because I too suffer from the same thing.
The way you do it is you'd have a bracket system that you can just click it onto the bracket and then unlock it and then take it away.
No. I don't want to take away the entire unit. I want to take the yoke and just put it away in a box beside me or throw it on the ground or something, right? It's literally...
And keep the unit on your desk?
Yes, under the desk. Under mounted.
Well, under the desk.
Yeah, under so you have to clip it out. Of course. Like
you have to clip it out from there.
Yeah, like a steering... No. You don't have to clip it out. You take the yoke part off. The shaft and everything stays under your desk but retracts under. So a unit that is completely leaves your desktop untouched and is removable to where you don't have a yoke sitting in front of you all the time at your tummy while you're trying to use the keyboard, right? It's the yoke
but
itself.
Your yoke would be under the desk then. The head unit would be under the desk.
Right.
That doesn't make sense.
Why doesn't that make sense?
Because
how low is your desk?
Yeah, it's way too low. Well,
how low is your desk?
Like my armrests, essentially.
It's perfect. Right? Mine are right here.
No, it's way too. I'm telling you,
it's too low.
It's way too low. So my perfect solution to this, I have a solution to this because I modded my CH product.
Remember
for this.
that the yokes come up. They don't They
Yeah, but you gotta
yokes
turn
come-
it.
Well, yeah, but that's not too low. Not for, I don't know, is my desk crazy high or something? But that's
Maybe. No, it's
100%.
not the average height. I'm telling you.
100%
'Cause
right
it
angle
is
to my
way too
hand.
low. No, it's way too low.
I think something, and I think maybe where Mark was going, this is what I was thinking was, and I'm in the same boat. I would like to have it to where it could be mounted underneath the desk. Because, like, again, when I had the side tech, it was like, bam, right on top of the desk. I really didn't like that. So I had to take it off, boom, take it off, reconnect and all that. So a bracket where, like a separate product you would buy, let's say for 20, 30 bucks, it would say, it's hard to see. So if this is the edge of your desk, right? And the brackets, like a good metal sits on top, okay? And down in here, the yoke itself slides in, boom, now it's just there, you know, in this bracket. When you're done, you can just, what? Zip, slide it over. That is my thought. If I were able to get a bracketing system, I would want something like that. Slide in the bracket. It has hooks that sit and rest underneath the desk. Lock it in. When I don't need to use it, I can just literally slide it over, not having to move it and reconnect it and tie it down.
A key thing, and I modded my CH product to do that, is a quick USB release adapter right behind the yoke, so I can leave the cable on my desk. And then when I bring the yoke on my desk, I just wire that thing up right on my desk. There's an adapter, it plugs in, and the cable is like that short out of the yoke. So you can do whatever you want with it. Super flexible. The cable breaks, you buy a new one. Super easy.
Did you say wireless?
No, hell no wireless.
Wireless would work. Wireless actually would work. That would be battery.
That would be cool, but the big thing I think would be battery life. That would
on
be
final you lose the battery.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
Some previews of the Aerosoft A330 interior. Some details and more. This one posted by Ivana Fly.
Boy, am I excited about it.
Mr. Cox says, time to give this one its own topic. I'll make one for the A320, 321 as well, but for some reason that won't load at this moment. As explained, with the graphical work on the A330 is progressing nicely. We want to have the A320-21 out first and have the 1819 on the same system status SP1 as well. So we're not thinking about dates. But so many of the systems have been done already and so many others are the same as in the smaller buses. We do not see major issues at this moment. It's just a lot of work, not a lot of unexpected surprises. The prices have not been fully set yet, but should be in the same ballpark as the 1819 2021, and there will be a modest discount for people who own any of the current buses because we reuse some parts from the current project, and you know, we never ask you to pay more than one time for a file. I like that. Let's have a look at some more pictures.
Yep.
Nom 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 nom. Some
Yep,
Dragon Air
I'll eat
action.
that for breakfast. Yeah. I'll eat that for breakfast. That's a beautiful plane.
I am really looking forward to the release on this to see how it's going to perform in Prepared. I really am.
When do you guys guess? 2020? 2021?
By Christmas.
By Christmas?
Nah,
By Christmas.
no.
No?
I'm thinking first quarter next year.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds more like it.
Yeah, maybe spring.
I reckon by the next Flight Sim Expo.
Yeah, close to a year.
There might be an announcement release.
Well, let's try to remember that. I'm definitely thinking spring next year. That's what I'm thinking.
That would be nice. The amount of detail is just ludicrous, though.
Yeah, I mean, look at the interior. Wow.
I know every few months they like release previews, and they've done that since 2013 when they announced it. But the amount of detail just goes up and up and up, and I'm very, very happy about what I'm looking at right now. It's really, really well detailed. I'm very, very happy. I look forward to flying that plane. I've been looking forward to flying that plane for such a long time.
I'm thinking of a price point on this one, probably about yeah. Wow.
So a guy says, will it have wing flex? And a guy responds, I've looked at a static photograph of an A330 for almost 5 minutes now, and I can confirm the wings aren't flexing. So you will not do what you did for the CRJ?
Fucking good.
Oh my god.
I'm thinking the price point on this is probably going to be like $75 as well. Because it looks like Aerosoft is really pushing up the quality of this series that they're doing. And, you know, with them labeling it professional, I'm really thinking that they're going to push up the price. I'm really thinking
a good point.
70, 75.
They tagged this professional, yep.
Yeah, so I'm really thinking 70, 75. But if it is that price point, if I'm anywhere close to it, I just hope, as with what we all do, when you tag a sim product with professional and elite and ultimate, you really gonna have to sell those words when we take hold of your product and we try it. Those words and verbs and all that better, it really better make sense and really be worth the money that we spend. So that's
now. But does that mean that it becomes the same class as FS Labs because it bears the professional label?
I don't know but still, that's what I mean though. If you're going to claim that and you're pushing up your price point, what you're saying about the product and what you're charging should match. It should make sense. You know, right. Like those of us out there who've bought the 777, the 747, we paid, you know, almost $1.50. I'm just gonna round it off. Let's say they're all what, like 140 or whatever, but we paid $1.30, $1.40 for those. They kind of make sense for what you're getting out of the aircraft and what you paid for. So I'm hoping this is the same. The FS Labs thing, I can't speak to that. I don't have said product, and yeah, I don't know.
I agree with you. You know, especially with like the PMDG stuff, they're expensive aircraft, but I feel I've got my money out of them because I fly those planes and I fly them well, and I got my money back from them. And I do the same with the Airbus as well. I'm looking at the Airbus, but I'm going to wait for the 2021.
New download, the Manfred Jan C-47 TSL Firebirds tanker livery. This a bit of news for the community. Head over and grab it now. It is fully available for download in our download section. A beautiful livery done by Mr. Canuck Shaw. Unfortunately, as you all know, out here in California right now, it's like hell on earth. Everything is burning and it's pretty crazy. I did a special show. You may be able to catch it in the VODs where we kind of cruised out there. And at one point, I turned on the real world data fires for the car fire. And there were so many fires in sim that I was literally at about 1 frame per second. And that's not an exaggeration. The sim was a complete stutterfest. So much fire on the ground. It's crazy. So hats off to the firefighters that are out there working the fields, man. It's madness. It's madness. If you you know, have the Manfred Jan C-47, go out and grab the livery. If you don't, go out and grab the plane and the livery because the plane is free. And it's one of the most beautiful freeware aircraft you can imagine. The link is also here to Sim Outhouse where you can grab the plane. Head on over, have a peek, and share your screenshots with us in the Discord. Head over to the social club.
Question, yeah. Where did you get those fires?
Firefighter X by Lorby SI. Firefighter
well.
X. Not free. Nope, not free.
No, it's a paid one?
Not
Pay
for
one.
the fire.
Yeah.
Still worth it though, if you like firefighting. Yeah.
Worth it if
And
you
it
like
does-
firefighting, yeah.
And it works worldwide?
It works worldwide. Worldwide real world fires. Just suggests that you don't... It's super heavy on the system. Each fire puts a big toll on the system because there is steam, there is smoke, there's the fire texture, etc. As well as when you make runs, it records that run on the ground in red as well, or with water or whatever. So it's pretty intense on the frames if you really crank it up. But if you keep it comfortable, it performs really well. And you can do stuff like turn off the steam after you put out a fire. Like you can turn that off in settings, and then it saves you a little bit of resource as well. So Lore BSI Firefighter X is what I've been using. So check out the VOD and yeah, give it a run. And now on to worth mentioning, this is the speed round, ladies and gentlemen, updates and things you should just kind of know about. So listen for the things that you might own that might have updates. We'll start from the beginning. Grizzly Bear Sims posts a really good write-up on what POSCON actually is. You heard us talk about it at the beginning of the show. If you don't know what POSCON actually is, head over to the show notes down below and check out this link. It's a great write-up written by Grizzly Bear Sims, a great writer. Orbex Netherlands True Earth, we now have previews for Aerofly FS2, so that's coming to Aerofly, and I'm sure it will perform incredibly in Aerofly. Rex Worldwide Airports HD, now updated for V4. Lovely Turkish freeware sceneries. If you fly in that region, head over and check out this link. The sceneries, from what I hear, are absolutely beautiful. And yes, free. Aerosoft A318 and 19 updated to 1.1.0.0. Some art updates in X-Plane 11.25. The Turbolet update goes to 1.21. X-Plane gets a new scenery. Now released is the Fox Island scenery that we talked about in 2 shows ago. Absolutely beautiful. Orbex has a libraries update. Run FTX Central to get that. FlyJ Sim announces a release date for their upgraded Boeing 727. August 10th, by the way. NVIDIA GeForce drivers now updated to 398.82 for those that love to be on the bleeding edge. FS2 Crew releases Aerosoft Airbus Pro for the updated Aerosoft Airbus. And, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a supporting patron of the Sky Lounge, you have a discount. So head on over to the skylounge.tv/partners to get your discount code for FS2 Crew products. Captain Sim 757 now updated to 1.2. And last but not least, the Embraer 110 for X-Plane 11 by Dreamfoil is now released, and it's beautiful.
And I just picked it up this morning.
Good, so you can tell us about it next week.
Oh, I'll stream it.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap us up for today. We've gone a bit over, but we hope you enjoyed the show. Until next week, let's do a Sky 3 in name of a little Star Trek action there. Sky 3, baby.
Well, I got 3.
Yeah.
63, climb maintain 13 down.
13,000, Tempo 63.
63, contact the New York Center 128.3.
28 3, Tempo 63, good day.